Hello, I'm Adam, hailing from partsFUNknown, and welcome to how... Wait, what's going on? Oh my god! Oh, is that Retribution? Oh my god! Stop it! Stop it now! Oh goodness! Oh, Retribution! Oh.
Hello, my name's Bevel, and I've overthrown Adam for justice. For too long, the people working for partsFUNknown have earned money making YouTube videos, and that's disgusting. So me and my friends, Thresher, Dump Chain, Bandwidth, Camel, Belch, Spittoon, Doorknob, Bebop, Corrugated Iron, Rocksteady, Thresher, Sausage, Quorn, and Black & Decker cordless electric screwdriver, we're not going anywhere until the corporate sellouts who make money producing YouTube videos for partsFUNknown pay me and my friends money as well.
Oh, thank you very much. Let's just put my John Hancock on here. Bevel. Oh, I've now achieved my goal, apparently. Bye now. F the man. Well, that was shit. So 2020 was a year where Baron Corbin had dog food dumped over him. He had the swamp fight, Goldberg beating the Fiend, Eye for an Eye, Raw Underground, and Eric Roden's f***ing Spider. I mention this so that it has a bit more weight when I say WWE's worst storyline of 2020, potentially the worst storyline in wrestling in 2020 was Retribution, which looking back pretty much amounted to essentially the world's most embarrassing job interview. In August, WWE announced that a new faction would be debuting on Raw. People got concerned when they saw the name Just Us had been patented by WWE, but don't you worry, what actually happened was a lot worse. Hashtag release Zack Snyder's Just Us League. A group of balaclava domestic terrorist looking motherfuckers threw a Molotov cocktail at a generator. After a summer of political unrest, it sure did look like WWE were doing their own version of Antifa, criticism of which intensified after their SmackDown invasion. And check out this awkward dollar store Nexus bullshit. Sick. I think my favorite is the lad beating up the ring with a bat. You show that canvas, good buddy. F the mat. So Retribution was here, they were bad, and they were going to shake things up until they got what they wanted. And what did they want? To destroy WWE and also get a job in WWE. The September 21st episode of Raw was pretty much the point where Retribution broke beyond all possible fixing. We saw them in all their glory for the first time, we learned their names, and we heard them speak. Each and every one a gigantic embarrassment for everyone involved. Retreating as far as possible from the accusations that WWE were basically doing what a right-wing billionaire thought anti-fascist protesters were, WWE sent out an intern with $20, told him to buy a bunch of masks and make sure you bring home change. Doing a budget Joel Schumacher, Batman and Robin, reducing a huge gang of faceless yobbos to a core squad of Hot Topic Bane. A high school drama club doing a stage adaptation of Mad Max Fury Road, actively erasing the recent stellar work of Dominik Dijakovic, Mercedes Martinez, Mia Yim, and Dio Madden and Shane Thorne to a lesser but also very real extent. Their names were Mace, T-Bar, Reckoning, Retaliation, and Slapjack. And there's nothing I can add to Luke and Ollie's reaction at the time. Turns out that WWE had offered contracts to Retribution, the group that was actively vandalizing their company, and the group responded to this recruitment by saying, people who earn money wrestling are bad. Thanks for the contracts though. They went after the Hurt Business a bit, then hopes were briefly raised when the leader of the group was revealed to be Ali, because hey, that accidentally counts as long-term booking, sort of. Maybe. It smells like long-term booking, at least, with Ali revealing, oh yeah, I was a SmackDown hacker. It's all connected. But hey, people liked Ali and wanted more for him, so yay. Except alas, Nay, over the following months, the team went from interrupting Raw main events to being briefly destroyed by The Fiend, bullying Ricochet for ages, feuding with the New Day, and then the group broke up on the Fastlane pre-show. On the pre-show, lads. The Nexus is widely regarded as a failed Invading Force storyline, but at least they main evented SummerSlam. Retribution members had 2 pay-per-view matches. Ali spending 10 minutes in the Men's Royal Rumble, and at Hell in a Cell, Lashley squashing Slapjack in 4 minutes. That's it. In terms of bell-to-bell minutes on pay-per-view, Tamina received more match time over WrestleMania weekend than Retribution's entire lifespan. Nobody meaner. So Mercedes Martinez has gone back down to NXT. Mia Yim's moved to SmackDown. T-Bar and Mace have been unmasked on Raw, but they're still called T-Bar and Mace and cutting promos. And Ali is missing in action, posting tweets like this saying he just wants to fall in love again. So bad luck, talented people, I guess. Let me have a go. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I mean, this is the closest I've come to just saying no and running away and then just having credits for 8 minutes. Look, I'm not going to rebook Slapjack and the Gang. You can't make me. I'm going to rebook an Invading Force in WWE that also has the name Retribution, and you'll take what you're given. So big question is, who wants Retribution against WWE? A large group of people who have been misused by WWE, chiefly the main roster, who feel betrayed by WWE, have a common background, maybe even a common origin, a place they all come from, but then the main roster crushed their spirit. Let's do it. NXT Invasion, ring the bell. It starts after SummerSlam, no Molotov cocktails, no cinder blocks through glass doors. Forgot about that one. Maybe Retribution was good after all. Instead, for weeks, people are found beaten up backstage with Retribution spray painted on the wall over their body. The first is the only just returned Sami Zayn. Next week, Aleister Black. The week after, Kevin Owens, Chad Gable. This happens for a few weeks until the Raw before Clash of Champions, where instead, spray painted above the wall over the body of Andrade is the word Sunday. At Clash of Champions, there's a semi-main singles match. IC champion Sami Zayn versus IC champion AJ Styles, who's held the belt continuously since May, not losing it to Jeff Hardy. Sorry, Jeff. Give the match 15 minutes at least. Try to remind everyone how good Sami Zayn is before the ref goes down. While the ref is down, 3 dudes in balaclavas run in and brutalize AJ Styles. They rip off their masks to reveal themselves Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and the man in the middle, Finn Balor, who kneels over AJ and says simply into the mic, "This is a rescue mission." They run out as security guards rush to the ring. Sami Zayn pins AJ Styles to retain the IC title. The next night on Raw, another match is interrupted by the 3 men. The match is Keith Lee with his t-shirt and his awful new music versus Sheamus. The 3 men have another person in a balaclava with them who doesn't join the attack. Gargano and Ciampa take to the mic saying, "This is exactly why we left. We've seen it so many times now, over and over and over again. People kill themselves in NXT to become someone. And then the people who run this company kill themselves to turn them into nobodies. There will be consequences. There will be retribution." He said it. Finn Balor says to Keith, "This is how it starts. It starts well, but then you get lost. Keith, come home before you get lost along the way." Keith slaps his hand away and says, "Well, if you won't listen to me, perhaps you'll listen to her." And the person in the balaclava with them takes off their mask to reveal Mia Yim. And she says, "Please, Keith, please come home. Please don't let them take you away." Keith Lee looks at them, bows his head, and walks away. Tells Mia backstage, "For both of us, it was always about getting here. And now that I'm here, you want me to walk away? I can't do that. Not yet." On NXT, Balor tells the entire locker room they need to be ready for what comes next. Whatever happens, win or lose, NXT will emerge as the #1 brand in all of wrestling, and they need to choose whose side they're going to be on. I was on the wrong side once. Not anymore. The attacks keep coming. 2 weeks before Hell in a Cell, Balor issues a demand. WWE have a choice. They either change the leadership of WWE right at the very top, you know what I mean, or they let all the NXT stars who have been misused come home. He wants to hear an answer at Hell in a Cell, and he doesn't want it from another corporate yes man. He wants it from Triple H. So at Hell in a Cell, there's a summit. Balor, Gargano, and Ciampa come out to the ring. Triple H comes out flanked by security, and then we have a rooty tooty shooty promo where everyone makes good points. The Retribution guys talk about how the main roster poaches NXT's best talent just to pop a rating and then forgets about them. Triple H says, okay, let me throw some names at you. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Big E. Triple H tells Finn that this is killing me. NXT is as precious to me as my own children, but in my NXT, we don't make excuses. WWE refuses your demands. At this point, the Retribution members attack the security forces, and out come some wrestlers: Chad Gable, Andrade, Aleister Black, Ricochet, people who have been assaulted by Retribution in the past, and for a second, they face off against the Retribution guys before turning and assaulting Triple H with the rest of the invaders. A huge brawl, people, bodies flying all over the place, Ricochet getting to do a flippy-do. He doesn't get to do those anymore, and it's Ricochet we're talking about. In the middle of this scrum, in the middle of the ring, Finn Balor places a steel chair around the neck of Triple H and does a coup de grace. Triple H is stretchered away before the dust can settle. So the pitch leading into Survivor Series is WWE NXT Civil War. People choose their side. Keith Lee remains loyal to the main roster, as do pretty much all the former NXT stars that have made good for themselves on the main roster: Seth, Roman, Drew, Big E. Some join with NXT, like Kevin Owens, Andrade, Murphy, Bobby Roode. Surprisingly, Sami Zayn, despite Retribution helping him win the IC title, despite having issues with WWE, stays loyal to the main roster. He says, I was the heart and soul of NXT, but the only place to make the main roster better is on the main roster. He and Gargano brawl over who was the true heart and soul of NXT. All of this builds to a huge 5-match card for Survivor Series, with NXT as the focus. People with a history of NXT all colliding against each other in 5 WWE versus NXT matches. The matches are Sami Zayn for WWE versus Johnny Gargano for NXT, IC Champion versus North American Champion, Heart and Soul versus Heart and Soul. Sami Zayn wins. Samoa Joe steps off commentary, teams with Riddle, Cesaro, Corbin, Nakamura for WWE versus Pete Dunne, Chad Gable, Ricochet, Murphy, and Bobby Roode for NXT. The NXT team win. The Street Profits and the New Day for WWE versus the Undisputed Era for NXT. The Street Profits and New Day win. Still want to keep that Undisputed Era implosion cooking in the background. Charlotte, Sasha, Asuka, Bianca, and Nia Jax for WWE versus Shayna Baszler, Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, Mia Yim, and Bayley for NXT. NXT team wins. And then the main event: Seth Rollins, Big E, Roman Reigns, Keith Lee, and Drew McIntyre versus Aleister Black, Andrade, Tommaso Ciampa, Kevin Owens, and Finn Balor. The main event comes down to 2 versus 2. Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, the champs, versus Finn Balor and Kevin Owens. However, Owens hits a stunner on Balor and walks out of the match, leaving Roman and Drew to pick up the pinfall. WWE 3, NXT 2. Now, a lot of people might be angry that NXT don't win here. Just want to remind you that A, NXT won in 2019, and B, this whole storyline is attempting a delicate balance. Obviously, you want to turbocharge interest in NXT now it's on cable TV, but also the main roster is still where the bulk of superstars' money is made. You don't want to bury the concept of the main roster too much. You want the main roster to improve. You can't do that by hermetically sealing off NXT and stopping the stars of the future being called up. The aim of this whole thing is to basically try and make a cool story with fun matchups featuring people who have been classed as unimportant for too long and making them important again. What you want to do is make Raw, SmackDown, and NXT must-watch TV, not just NXT. You know, as much as people have their loyalties. In the wake of Survivor Series, WWE make an important announcement. They want to make peace. Anyone who wants to move to NXT can do so. The draft that in real life happened in October happens here instead. So WWE can move some key names that it currently doesn't have anything for on the main roster: Black, Ricochet, Andrade, Baszler. Oh my God, the main roster. Never mind. World-class talents, they can move them back to NXT so they can improve both their stock and the stock of NXT as an entire program. The fallout leads to NXT TakeOver War Games, with a whole bunch of returning talent versus current NXT stars, with also a blow-off WWE versus NXT match inside War Games to give NXT a bit of heat back. Andrade versus Gargano, the rematch for the North American title. Murphy versus Santos Escobar for the Cruiserweight title. Baszler versus Shirai, and a War Games match with Team NXT, Pete Dunne, Ciampa, Black, and Ricochet going over Team WWE, Keith Lee, Seth Rollins, Nakamura, and Riddle. The main event, though, is Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor for the NXT Championship, and during that match, Triple H returns, decking Balor with a sledgehammer, allowing Kevin Owens to become new NXT Champion. And the aim of this is to create a really fun few months run of Kevin Owens as a WWE guy, dressing in a suit and tie, ruling over a much expanded NXT, holding their top championship hostage. This all blows off at the NXT TakeOver in WrestleMania week, which isn't called Stand and Deliver, it's now called TakeOver Retribution, including matchups. Kevin Owens defending his title versus Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano in a triple threat match, a gauntlet eliminator featuring Aleister Black, Andrade, Pete Dunne, Murphy, and Ricochet to crown a #1 contender to the NXT Championship at WrestleMania, which is won by Aleister Black, and Triple H versus Finn Balor, because I know he doesn't need it, but Triple H needs to have at least one match at a TakeOver before he retires. And naturally, Finn Balor wins. Aleister Black moves on to beat Kevin Owens for the NXT title at WrestleMania, again bringing a wider, more mainstream focus to NXT just in time for Aleister Black to begin a feud with Karrion Kross. And that is how I didn't really rebook Retribution, did I? Because don't do it. Don't do WWE Antifa, don't do dollar store masks, don't have a group which is dedicated to destroying WWE whilst also being hired by Raw and like literally drafted to the program. Oh, these guys hate us, they're trying to kill us, well, better get them on contract then. Don't do that. There's so little to salvage here that I basically just wanted to do my own thing. An NXT invasion, you know, and they do actually want retribution. And like, if you're gonna do the NXT invasion storyline, which loads of people have been craving, whether it's good or not, if you're gonna do an NXT invasion, at least do it at a point where everyone's in the same state. Might as well. So that is how I would book Retribution. Was there not enough masks in it for you? Let me know in the comments, why not? Don't forget to like and share this video around if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to partsFUNknown for more very silly wrestling content. And if you'd like to help me choose the next How Adam Would Book, patreon.com/partsFUNknown. They made me do this, they make me do all of these, and I hate them so much. And why don't you be a part of that? Bye everyone. Jam that jam.